Hi YouTube! Welcome to my channel. I am Panya, your local cute isekai loving Zupana, and it's time to watch another Umamusume video. This time about Agnes Tachyon. Now this video is called You Can't Win Against Agnes Tachyon and it's done by Glaivekia? I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your name. I probably did. I'm very sorry. But this video really caught my eye because just recently I've watched the Umamusume movie and I'm also playing the game, okay? But Agnes Tachyon, for the entire time, has been my most favorite Umamusume horse. I mean, Agnes simply has it all. She has the talent, she has the looks, she has the personality. She may be a little crazy, but we are all about that over here, okay? And in the end, she is simply goated. She is absolutely incredible. She's incredible in the movie, she's incredible in the game, she's simply incredible overall. And I may have fallen head over heels for her a little bit. I mean, can you judge me, right? So I just really want to know even more about her because I really like her. So I thought this video may be actually perfect because it promises quite a lot of new details. So I'm really excited of what new stuff we can learn. Maybe something that we haven't seen yet. I really hope so. So yeah, without further ado, let's go straight into that video.
君はあの日、私の走りを見てどう思った？
It's Agnes! She's so cool! I mean, how can you not love her? Wow! Look at her!
In the popular game Umamusume Pretty Derby, there is a character who is very much a puzzle. A girl in an oversized lab coat, obsessed with pushing the limits of physics and biology, who affectionately refers to you, her trainer, as her guinea pig. Wait.
I am very happily her guinea pig. I will give my body, my soul, anything really you want. I will give it to science if Agnes Tachyon will take it for her experiments.
Are you serious? This is Agnes Tachyon. On the surface, she is one of the most distinct and memorable characters in a massive cast. But the question has always been, why? Why this specific name? Why a mad scientist? And why is she so hot? It turns out her entire design—
That's so true. Why is she so freaking hot? I mean, why not, right?
isn't just a creative choice, it is a biography written in code. Every stitch in her lab coat, every piece of her jewelry, every strange pattern in her eyes tells the history of a real-world horse. A horse whose career was a flash of absolute terrifying perfection before
It's that detailed! Well, I didn't know that!
it vanished completely. This is the story of an undefeated fandom, and to understand his ghost, we first have to deconstruct the character born from it.
Okay, let's go!
So let's take a closer look at Agnes Tachyon herself. In the game, she is introduced with the title Princess of Superluminal Speed, and on the surface, her design is pretty straightforward. You see the lab coats, the vials of glowing liquid, the slightly unhinged expression, and you get it immediately. She is the mad scientist. It is a clean, effective archetype, but with this character, the surface level is just an invitation. And when you start looking closer, you realize that almost nothing in her design is there by accident. It is less of a character design and more of a historical document. Let's start with the most obvious detail, her sleeves. You see these blue vials held on by red straps? It is a distinct color pattern. Well, here are the jockey silks, worn by Hiroshi Kawachi, the man who rode the real Agnes Tachyon in all 4 of his races. Red body, blue striped sleeves is a 1-to-1 match, a direct faithful recreation. So that is a nice nod, but the creators went deeper, a lot deeper. Let's take a look at the zipper pulls on her lab coats. They are shaped like diamonds, 4 sides of a diamond. The real Agnes Tachyon had a perfect, undefeated career of 4 wins and 0 losses. 4-4-4. A coincidence? I think not.
Oh, okay. I was wondering why there were so many diamonds on her design. That makes sense. But I would have never thought of that. Oh, that's so cool.
Umamusume, there is no coincidences. Even her earrings tell a story. They are a small nod to her mother, or her dam in horse racing terms, a horse named Agnes Flora. The earrings are made of a connected hexagon and a pentagon, 6 sides and 5 sides. Her mother—
Wait. But I thought, let's go back to that. I thought this is just because she's a scientist and this is like a chemistry molecule. Is it not? I think it's just like chemistry, no? Is it not just because it's a chemistry design? I thought it's like the typical chemistry scientist us as well, you know? The one that you get on like any kind of Claire's around the corner, I don't know. Is it not?
and 5 sides. Her mother, Agnes Flora, ran 6 races in her career and won 5 of them. It is an obsession with detail that borders on the absurd. And then we get to—
Oh, okay, so I guess it's still like probably still because of the chemistry stuff, but it just takes in account 5 wins of 6 races from her mom. Well, that's cool. That's actually really neat.
the physics theme. Her name, Tachyon, comes from a hypothetical particle that travels faster than light. To enforce this, her unique skill in the game is cheekily named U equals MA square, a not so subtle parody of Einstein's EMC square. But the most interesting part is hidden in—
Oh, that was from Einstein! Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, I don't know a lot of things, but that's cool. That's interesting.
her eyes. That unusual stripe pattern in her pupils, that is a visual reference to the double slit experiment. You don't need to be a physicist, but it is a famous experiment in quantum mechanics that basically deals with the fundamental weirdness of how light and matter behave at the smallest, most unpredictable level. It is a perfect theme for a character obsessed with pushing past the known limits of reality. And finally,
I know that experiment. I've heard about that in school once. Oh, that's cool. So that's why her eyes are like that. That's actually really cool. Oh my god, like every single one of her details in her design has a purpose. I mean, that's what he literally said, but I didn't believe it at first, to be honest. But it's true. This is insane. There's so much work and thought behind all of this. Man, I love that.
of this lore, the history, the physics, translates directly in how she actually plays. Her most powerful skill in the game gives her a massive boost of stamina right when she needs it most. It is a direct mechanical solution to the physical fragility that defines her entire story. This level of obsessive detail isn't just for show, it is all in service of telling a very specific and very real tragedy. And to understand that tragedy, we need to talk about the horse himself.
Ooh, okay.
Before he ever set foot on track, the expectations for agnestachyon were enormous. He was, for the lack of better term, thoroughbred royalty. His father, his sire, was the legendary Sunday Silence, an American champion brought to Japan who completely revolutionized the sport, injecting a kind of ferocious, competitive fire into the nation's bloodlines. His mother's side was a dynasty. His dam, Agnes Flora, was a classic winner. His granddam, Agnes Lady, was also a classic winner. And just to make sure the pressure was high enough, his full brother, a horse named Agnes Flight, had won the Japanese Derby, the single most important race in the country, just the year before Tachyon was set to debut. So, you know, no pressure. Tachyon—
That is a family of winners. Holy shit. I mean, they do say, you know, diamonds are created under pressure, right? Like, something like that. I think in German we have a saying like that. So, you know, there's that much pressure from the family. Of course, agnestachyon is also an incredibly fast horse, right? I mean, it's like the family rule at this point. It's in the blood and in the pressure.
wasn't just another horse, he was the heir to the throne, the living embodiment of a perfect genetic cross. And then he started running. His career is known by the nickname the Phantom of the Turf because it was brief, violent storm of dominance that was over almost as soon as it began. In just over 4 months, he earned 222 million yen. At the time, about 2 million US dollars. It happened in 4 acts. The Act 1 is his debut. Despite his royal bloodline, reports reports from training were lackluster, so he wasn't even the betting favorite. He was sent off at nearly 6-1 odds. He won by 3.5 lengths, a crushing margin that made the odds look foolish. Yo, if I could turn back time and tell my parents to bet on Tachyon, dude, I would be rich. But anyways, Act 2, the radio Tampa High Stakes. This time, he was up against two colts who would go on to become legends in their own right, Jungle Pocket and Kurofune. Tachyon treated them like they weren't there. He didn't just win, he shattered the course record. It was after this race that his jockey, Hiroshi Kawachi, delivered the famous quote, "I am convinced this horse is off a different dimension." And then
Imagine you're the horse and this is being said about you. Imagine somebody would say that about you. I mean, obviously that's never gonna happen, but we can dream, okay? We're allowed to dream. And that, I wouldn't even be capable of dreaming of somebody saying that about me, you know? That is an incredible sentence. Someone was very, very proud and shocked, probably. I mean, obviously, after like setting new record stuff, after like setting records next to other horses that are simply incredibly fast and will, like, already know this because I watched the movie, a little spoiler, but Jungle, for example, is going to be like one of the top horses, right? Like one of the fastest one ever. So that is simply incredible. Yes, it makes a lot of sense that this sentence was being said. Yeah, I am impressed. Agnes, I am impressed.
Act 3, the Yayoi Show. The conditions were terrible. A heavy rain-soaked track that should have dulled his explosive speed. Instead, he proved what his trainer called his incredible versatility. He splashed away from the field and won by 5 lengths. The best jockey in the country, Yutaka Take, was on the second place horse that day. His assessment was simple. Tachyon was just too strong. And then Act 4, the Satsuki Show, the first leg of the Japanese Triple Crown. And by now, the secret was out. He was the overwhelming favorite. He won, cementing his status as the undisputed king of his generation. The path to immortality seemed clear, and agnestachyon was set to find out what happens when he reaches top speed. But then, it ended. Just 17 days after that career-defining victory, the news broke. Agnestachyon had developed acute flexor tendonitis, severe
What? Superficial digital flexor tendonitis? But superficial means it's not real, right? Doesn't superficial mean it's not real? So it's like just in your brain or something? Is that what it means? Or am I thinking of a different English word? Like isn't it like also the TV show about superficial beings, like vampires and shit? Which, you know, are not real. I hate to bring this to you guys, but probably not real. It's a common injury in athletic courses, particularly in racing and eventing. I have no idea what that means. In my head, this is just like somebody having an event, like a big dinner and just serving the guests. But I feel like that's probably not what they meant, not gonna lie. It involves inflammation and damage to the superficial digital flexor tendon, located in the lower limb. This injury can lead to pain, lameness, and reduced performance with a high risk of re-injury. So it's a superficial injury to a superficial thing in your body? Am I dumb? Why is it called superficial if it's supposed to exist? Does superficial mean things do exist? I gotta be honest, it's a little too high for me. I don't get it at all. What? I'm so confused. But I suppose it must be a real injury, right? Otherwise they would have continued racing? Am I stupid? Probably. Probably, okay, but like, okay. Well, I mean, you never stop learning.
Inflammation of a critical leg tendon in his left foreleg. In other words, his career was over. And this is where the fiction creates a powerful direct link to reality. In the Umamusume movie, there is a key scene where Tachyon crosses the finish line, and as she does, the animation shows a visual of her left leg shattering like glass. It is not just a cool visual effect.
That is a superficial thing. Because it's not real. Because in the anime, that's just the superpower. So that's superficial, right? Yeah? Right? Did I get it correctly? I don't know. I'll just go with that.
It is a direct, heartbreaking artistic interpretation of the specific real-world injury that ended his career. And in retrospect, the injury wasn't a random accident. The warning signs were there. In the weeks before his final race, his behavior got worse. He reportedly started resisting his training routine, refusing to get on the horse van, and being difficult at the starting gate. This wasn't just the horse being difficult, it was likely an intelligent animal sensing the immense strain on his own body. Even his jockey quietly noted that in that final victory, Tachyon's signature finishing kick wasn't quite as explosive as it should have been. It is possible he was already, consciously or not, trying to protect himself. It all feeds into the theory that his body was a double-edged sword. He had an exceptional, revolutionary engine, but the body that had to support all that power was still developing and simply couldn't handle the stress. His own gift was unsustainable, and that is the core of the adaptation.
But that's so cool. Like, not the injury, obviously, but the fact that Agnestachyon realized himself that there's something wrong with his leg. And that's why he didn't really feel like racing and training, because he knew something is wrong with his leg and he has to take good care of himself. It's really cool because it just means that animals are very, very intelligent and they're capable of sensing stuff in their own body, and to show to human beings like, hey, there is something wrong, you know? That's really cool. They probably should have listened, but also, I mean, at that point, there wasn't really an injury yet. But then afterwards, I don't know if it would have made a difference if they would have just not done the race. Probably not, to be honest, but I mean, what do I know? But it seems like it was pretty close to the race itself. I think it's cool that a horse can recognize that by itself and then tell. That, I think, is pretty cool.
The entire motivation of the fictional Agnestachyon is born from this tragedy. She seems to be acutely aware of this predetermined fate, and her frantic, obsessive research is a direct rebellion against it, a fight to overcome the weaknesses of the flesh. There is a crucial nuance to her character too. She considers the possibility that if her experiments fail to save herself, the data she gathers might still be used to help other horse girls reach the potential that she couldn't. It is a poignant echo of that anime scene, where after her leg quote-unquote shatters, she looks back at her rivals and seems to think maybe they will be the ones to reach it. This transformation of a passive tragedy into an active motivation is the philosophical core of her character. And
yes, and that is one of the coolest things about her, in my opinion. It just shows so much personality, but also madness. And the way that it's portrayed in the show as well is really, really freaking crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Because she manipulates the shit out of her friends to motivate her friends, which is in favor of her friends, which is, I suppose, actually pretty good friendship. Not really the course of action I would take, but I can respect it. But at the same time, it is also absolutely not for the other people and completely selfish. Because it's only for her own experiment, right? That is her ultimate goal. But she is completely fine with her friends reaching her goal, which is sweet and wholesome at the same time. And the whole thing is just, I don't know, it's mad, it's crazy, absolutely fitting to her entire concept, but also gives her so much personality and heart. I really like that.
Doesn't just define her, it shapes every interaction she has with the world around her. Her relationships in the game aren't random pairings chosen for good chemistry. They are a carefully constructed social experiment, with every friendship and rivalry rooted in the hard data of racing history. It is another layer of the game's deep respect for the source material. Take, for example, her closest friend, Manhattan Cafe. Their dynamic is famous.
They're so cute together. Oh, I love them together so much. It's not the typical kind of friendship you usually get in anime and stuff, but it is really cute and wholesome in its own unique way. I really like it.
themed as science versus the supernatural. Tachyon is the loud, eccentric scientist who believes only in empirical data that she can test and measure. Cafe is a quiet, mysterious girl who speaks to an unseen friend, operating on intuition and forces beyond our understanding. But this opposites attract friendship isn't just a writer's invention, it is grounded in reality. In the real world, both Agnestachyon and Manhattan Cafe were sons of the same legendary father, the sire Sunday Silence. They were
Oh wait, so they're half siblings IRL. That's cool, I didn't know that. But they're so different.
from the exact same generation of horses and were two of the biggest rivals on the track. The game takes that shared history and rivalry and imagines it as this strange, compelling friendship between the two opposing worldviews. And then there's her relationship
But that is beautiful. That is a beautiful take on the whole thing. I love that.
with Daiwa Scarlet, which is different. With almost everyone else, Tachyon is callous, manipulative, and sees them as potential test subjects. But with Scarlet, she is uncharacteristically gentle. She is protective. In the story, Scarlet is one of the few who eagerly volunteers for Tachyon's experiments, and Tachyon responds not by using her for dangerous tests, but by giving her only the beneficial side products of her research. Potions that are proven to be safe and helpful, and there is a very specific and very poignant reason for this. In the real world, Agnestachyon was Daiwa Scarlet's sire, her father!
Nani? No way. What? I didn't know that. That explains it. But it's also very fucking crazy.
Say what? The game takes that simple genetic fact and
Say what? So cute. Sorry. I love that.
translated into this incredibly touching, almost parental bond. The obsessive scientist who is willing to risk her own body for her research instinctively protects the one person who represents her own bloodline. It is a brilliant piece of character writing. Of course, not
So
all
sweet.
relationships are that complex. Her dynamic with Jungle Pocket is much more straightforward. It is one of pure, intense rivalry. In 2001, Agnestachyon and Jungle Pocket were the undisputed top two cults of their year. Their story in the game is a direct reflection of that battle for supremacy. It is not about friendship or family, it is about two elite athletes pushing each other to their limits. And
I actually disagree. Because in the movie, it was very much portrayed like a friendship, right? So sure, rivalry to a very, very strong degree. But I also think friendship. Because after all, Agnes did believe in Jungle a lot. Agnes wanted Jungle to succeed, even in her own place. Agnes was absolutely fine with Jungle taking her place in the experiment. And Agnes was proud of Jungle too. And she watched Jungle race as well. There was this one race where Agnes wasn't racing at all, right? But she was still there and she said, oh, I'm just looking at my experiment. But I don't think that was true at all. And I feel like you could kind of see in the emotions that were shown in the anime that honestly Agnes was there to support her friend. That is my take on it because that's how I understood it. And I think it's beautiful friendship born from rivalry, right? So I would at this point a little bit disagree. Of course it is still very, very big rivalry, but also friendship, yeah. I do think so actually, and I do think it's a very complex friendship too.
there is the player, you. Tachyon's relationship with you, the trainer, is unique. From the moment you meet, she doesn't see you as a coach or a partner, she sees you as the perfect new test subject. She immediately dubs you as her guinea pig, or in Japanese,
Yeah.
your official role as the player is to be her primary research material. Congratulations! That should have been me!
Thank you! Congrats to me! Honestly, that was probably the most amazing thing about choosing her as a racing horse. Just that sentence. Every single time you start a career. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
So the game builds this intricate network of relationship around her, all drawn from the pages of racing history. But the most sophisticated use of her story comes when she is positioned not as a friend or a mentor, but as an insurmountable obstacle. This happens in the 2024 feature film, Beginning of a New Era. In the game, we experience Tachyon's story from the inside. We are her trainer, her guinea pig, we are fighting alongside her against her own physical fragility, but in the film, her story is secondary. The protagonist is her great rival, Jungle Pocket, and from Pocket's perspective, agnestachyon is the antagonist. And the movie does something brilliant. It takes the real-world tragedy of her career-ending injury and mostly ignores it. In the film's version of events, her retirement isn't an accident. It is a conscious choice. She runs her 4 perfect races not to win titles, but to achieve a personal scientific goal, to push her body to its absolute theoretical limits and gather the data. And once she does that, she just stops. She essentially reaches her personal finish line, says data collection complete, and hangs up her lab coat. This choice has a devastating effect on the film's actual protagonist, Jungle Pocket. Poki's goal is simple: to become the strongest by defeating all her rivals. But Tachyon's retirement makes that impossible. How can you prove you're the best when the one person who was clearly demonstrably better simply vanishes undefeated? Tachyon becomes a specter of perfection.
To be honest, that is ultimately evil at first. Like later on, that is what friendship is born from, and they do become friends in the end, right? But at that part, it is pure evil to just be like, hey, oh, you really want to run against me because I'm the best one and you want to be the best one? But I've always won against you till now. Well, guess I'm just gonna stop and just, you know, not race against you anymore at all. That is really evil, because it just means that Chang has zero chance to prove herself against Agnes.
That haunts the rest of the film. Every victory Jungle Pocket has is hollow because she knows she never beat the one rival that mattered. Tachyon's victory is so absolute that it makes Pocket's own victory impossible by her own definition. And this is Tachyon's true function in the movie. She isn't a villain to be overcome in the final showdown. Her own story arc is complete in the first act. Her job in the story is to be a catalyst, a force of nature that shatters the protagonist's simple worldview and forces her to mature. Poki has to move beyond wanting to defeat Tachyon and find a new, more meaningful reason to run. This complex portrayal is part of why she has become such a popular and enduring character in the franchise, appearing not just in these serious roles, but also as a reoccurring figure in the official gag manga series like the Umamusume and in constant promotional art. This ability to be a protagonist, an antagonist, and a tragic figure and a gag character all at once brings us to the core of her powerful and enduring legacy. The story of the real agnestachyon is, at its heart, a question. It is a story about what if. As one report eloquently puts it, his career was a preface to the book that was never written. 4 perfect chapters that promise a legendary epic, followed by silence. The fictional character of agnestachyon is the answer to all that question. The real horse was a passive victim of his own biology. The character is an active protagonist fighting against it. Where history left a void, fiction provided agency. And that synthesis has created this unique cultural singularity where the horse and the character are now inseparable. He exists simultaneously in 3 distinct but deeply intertwined forms. First, he is and always will be a historical legend, the undefeated phantom of the turf, frozen in time at the absolute peak of his power. Second, he became a genetic powerhouse. This was his second triumphant career. Denied the chance to prove his greatness on the track, he proved it as a father. He became a leading sire, meaning one of the top breeding stallions in the country, and fulfilled his genetic promise through his children. Champion offspring like Daiwa Scarlet, Derby winner Deep Sky, and another Satsuki Show winner in Captain Duel. In a final tragic echo of his racing career, his time as a sire was also cut short when he died suddenly of heart failure at just 11 years old. But the proof
that young as well, oh my god. But in the end, I feel like this is probably one of the biggest legacies in horse racing, because it is one of the most unique horse racing stories. There will always be horses that won the big race, right? There will always be horses like that, and sure, there is a legacies, but people will forget about them at some point. But will people ever forget about agnestachyon? I think not, because that is an absolutely unique way of writing history and becoming a legend. Nobody will ever forget about Agnes. And I think that is the biggest thing about it. Yes, it is kind of a book that has never finished writing, but that's what makes it so good, you know? It's something that just sticks with you and stays in your memory, stays in your brain, and you think about it over and over again. What if? What could have been? And that is, I personally think that that is incredible. A story that just starts and ends, you may enjoy it, but you will also forget about it at some point. But a story that never really ended, with many could-haves, many what-ifs, that is something you remember, that's something you think about consciously over and over again. And I think that really is what makes agnestachyon that popular. Because yes, many different sides of her personality, incredible, but also all these open questions and the uniqueness. I think that's one of the biggest factors, honestly.
Was there. The genius was real. And third, he is now a fictional icon, one of the most complex, popular, and instantly recognizable characters in the entire Umamusume franchise. These three legacies now feed each other. The popularity of the character sends countless new fans down the rabbit hole of racing history to learn about the phantom horse who inspired her, and a deeper understanding of that horse's tragic, brilliant career gives the fictional character a profound sense of weight and purpose. Ultimately, the story of agnestachyon has become a rare and powerful example of how fiction can engage with history, not just to retell it, but to explore its lingering
I think that's a really good sentence.
questions and, in a way, to provide a sense of emotional closure to a story that reality left unfinished. It is a reminder that sometimes the most enduring stories aren't about what happened, but about what could have been. And that is all about agnestachyon.
Yeah, that's exactly what I just said, basically. But he brought it down to a very short sentence. Yeah, sorry. I often talk around the hot porridge. we have a saying like that in German, sorry. I don't know how to say it in English, but we do talk about, like, talk around it a lot. But yeah, it is definitely an absolutely unique story that will never ever be told again. Well, I mean, agnestacyon's story will be told over and over again, but there will never be any other horse that will have the same story. That's what I mean. And I think that's pretty incredible. It's unique, it's iconic, it's freaking agnestachyon. This video, by the way, is incredible. Good job. I really enjoyed it. There were so many new informations in this video, like especially at the beginning with all the details of like the clothing, right? I really enjoyed that because I think I've not heard about anything like that yet, which is really cool. So thank you for teaching me, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you all very much for watching. And if you like me, and also my content, I suppose, please like and subscribe. And check out the channel of Glivecchio. I'm so sorry for mispronouncing. I have no idea how to pronounce your name. My deepest apologies. But check them out and like the video if you enjoyed it, just like I will right now. I really enjoyed it very much. So yeah, see you guys, and bye bye.